There's a conversation happening right now in boardrooms and offices all over the world. It's kind of quiet, it's always behind closed doors, but it is totally reshaping how our companies are built. So today, we're going to dig into what this all means, what it's really costing us, and maybe what we're losing along the way. And it usually kicks off with just 5 little words. Just imagine this for a second. You've been at your company for 14 years. You've literally built 3 teams from scratch, you've scaled 2 different parts of the business, and you walk into a meeting thinking you're about to talk about a promotion. But instead, you hear this: your layers being eliminated. And look, this isn't some made-up story. It's real, and it is happening way more than you think. And that person? Yeah, they were not alone. Not even close. This number right here, 53,000, that's how many leaders, just in the tech industry, have had this exact same conversation since January 1st of this year. That is a massive number, and it points to a huge shift in how corporations are thinking about their own org charts. And we're not just talking about little startups trying to survive. No, this is happening everywhere, at some of the biggest companies you can think of. We're talking about Amazon, Block, Pinterest, MasterCard, Dow. I mean, the list just keeps going. And these guys aren't just reacting to the market. They are making a very specific strategic decision. So what's it called? It's got a name: the Great Flattening. And the logic, well, if you're just looking at a spreadsheet, it makes perfect sense, right? You get rid of some layers of middle management and poof, payroll costs go down. Then you just plug in some of these new powerful AI tools to handle all the coordination stuff. And what do you get? A leaner, supposedly more efficient company. It sounds so clean, so modern. But here's the big question, isn't it? What does that spreadsheet not tell you? What are the hidden costs that don't show up on a financial report? Because when you just rip a piece out of your company's architecture, you leave a hole. And now, well, the data's starting to show us what's rushing in to fill that void. Okay, so here's warning sign number 1, and this comes from Gallup. In just 1 year, engagement among the managers who are still there, the ones who are supposed to be leading everyone through this change, has dropped from 30% down to 27%. Now, a 3-point drop in a year might not sound like a lot, but in the world of engagement metrics, that's a huge red flag. It tells you stress and burnout are spreading like wildfire. And it's not just about engagement. The anxiety levels are just soaring. This number here shows something pretty wild. Frontline leaders, the managers who are closest to the teams doing the actual work, are now 3 times more anxious about AI than their own CEOs are. It's like there's a total disconnect between the view from 30,000 feet and the reality on the ground floor. And this just nails the central paradox of this whole Great Flattening thing. We are literally removing the safety net from the very people who feel like they're walking a tightrope, the ones who are most afraid of falling. And then we turn around and expect them to lead their teams with total confidence? It's just a setup for failure.
So to really get what we're losing here, we have to borrow an idea from a pretty unlikely place: thermodynamics. Yeah, physics. It's called a dissipative structure, and believe me, it is the perfect metaphor for the secret job that middle management has been doing all along.
So what the heck is it? Well, a dissipative structure is basically any system that keeps itself organized by taking in chaotic energy and then pushing it out to its edges. The best example? A whirlpool. It takes all that messy, flowing water and creates this stable, ordered pattern. It literally turns chaos into clear direction. And here's where it all clicks. In physics, that structure absorbs all the disruption and keeps things orderly. And in a company, well, a good middle manager does exactly the same thing. They take all the chaos from the top, shifting strategies, crazy new priorities, and they translate it into clear, simple directions for their teams. They are the human shock absorbers for the entire organization. So this is the whole point. When you strip that structure away too fast, you don't actually get a leaner, faster company. You get entropy. You get disorder. All that chaos that used to be absorbed and managed, now it just floods the entire system, and it hits everybody. And this entropy, it's not just some vague feeling of being disorganized. Nope. It comes with a real and growing price tag. We can actually see it in what I'm calling the hidden repair bill. All the money companies are now having to spend to fix the very people and systems they just broke. Just take a look at this number: $13 billion. That is the projection for the executive coaching market in 2026. Think about that. It's an enormous industry built entirely on helping leaders. And it's not just huge. It's growing at a wild 11% every single year. We should really pause before we celebrate this. This number is a signal. It's a symptom that something is seriously wrong inside our companies. See, we like to call this spending development, right? It sounds so positive, like an investment. But let's be honest about what's really happening here. For a lot of these folks, it's actually damage control. We're spending billions of dollars to patch up leaders who have been completely overwhelmed and burned out by the chaotic systems we ourselves created.
So this all brings us to the real heart of the issue. The whole idea of the Great Flattening is based on one assumption, that AI can just step in and do the coordination stuff managers used to do. But that assumes that coordination is all they do. And that misses the one thing, the one advantage that is uniquely, irreplaceably human.
This right here is the truth we've got to understand. Organizational resilience, that ability to take a punch, to adapt on the fly, and to stick together when things get tough, that is not a cost you can just cut to save a buck. It is the only real competitive advantage you have that an algorithm can't copy. And resilience isn't just a buzzword. It's made up of these real human skills. That knack for complex, real-time coordination. That special ability to take some high-level corporate vision and make it mean something to your team. And maybe the most important one, the emotional labor of just holding people together when everything feels like it's falling apart. Let's just put it side by side. An AI model, it's incredible at optimization, at finding patterns in data. It can do things we can't even dream of. But a human leader, they provide resilience. They provide emotional fortitude. That stuff doesn't live in a software model. It lives in a person. You know, a person whose layer you might have just eliminated. And that leaves us with this final question, one that every single leader out there should be asking themselves tonight. As you're planning your next big move and looking for ways to be more efficient, are you really investing in your future? Or are you, in the name of progress, quietly tearing down the only human infrastructure that makes any of it possible in the first place?